There are a few useful habits that I discovered over time that allow me to improve faster, that make my watercolor painting a lot easier and even more enjoyable for me. So I thought I could share them with you. Some of them might be new to you and some are pretty obvious, but maybe you are a little bit like me and you could need a reminder from time to time. Let's begin. I dedicate some time in the essential techniques. It's so frustrating when you have a great idea, but you don't know how to paint it. I know we all just want to start painting and create a beautiful masterpiece, but learning the fundamentals of how watercolor works and how color theory works can make your life so much easier. I find it much more enjoyable to paint if I know how to achieve the effects that I want. Plus, you really don't need to study hard every day. A single long study session can already have a big impact on your next painting. And then you can just refresh it or expand your knowledge with new techniques from time to time. For example, negative painting is one basic technique I use often. It's when you leave out the lightest area and paint around it, like I did in this painting. I will put some useful videos for watercolor essentials in the info box, and I'll be making a course myself soon. I keep at least 2 sketchbooks. Almost every time I start painting, I begin with a rough sketch. That's when I need my first sketchbook. There's just anything I want to try inside of it. That's probably why it looks so bad. But I need the freedom in the sketchbook to experiment new techniques, combinations and materials. If I want to try a painting that's a bit more finished, I'm going for this sketchbook. It's a place where I can experiment, but I'd say the overall paintings are a bit less messy, most times. It's also very motivating to see your progress over time. Study from life. Don't ask me why, but that's something I don't do very often when I really should. Because it's such a good training to capture values, color and perspective. It also feels a lot more intense to paint from life. I feel like you have to be faster and observe better than painting from a photo reference. And I heard that many experienced artists or art professors at universities can see if something's drawn from life. I don't know if that's true, but I think the paintings from life sometimes look a bit more dynamic. So maybe let's give it a try. This painting was literally taken by the wind, so should I take it as a sign not to paint from life today? Planning my color palette and composition. So my dad is an artist and he told me very early when I started painting that I should have a composition. I feel like whenever I put more effort in planning my paintings, the results are much more satisfying. Even though I love the surprising things that watercolors do, I still have a rough plan where certain colors should be. Sometimes I use this book for color inspiration, or I'm searching Pinterest for color palette ideas. Mixing colors on the paper. I love to do this. I think the paint is much more vibrant and interesting if I let the paint float into each other on the paper, or if I mix it on the paper. It's well known that overmixing can cause desaturated colors sometimes, but a watercolor painting with smooth transitions and beautiful glazes just hits different. Always let your layers dry properly or use a hairdryer. You probably heard this a million times, but sometimes I still don't do it, and it's making my art process so much harder because I start panicking and try to save the painting somehow. Also, be careful with the hairdryer. If the paper's too wet, you will push the water and paint around and get sharp edges, which can be annoying if you don't want them. Find artists you love and be inspired by them. I like to study other artists' work and implement some of their techniques in my own paintings. This way, something new and unique can emerge, especially if you have a lot of inspiration sources. Never straight copy and claim it as yours though, that's theft. Step out your comfort zone from time to time. You never paint larger watercolor paintings? Maybe it's time to try it. Or try a completely new motif or a different color palette this time. I recommend doing that in your sketchbook. It can open new perspectives and opportunities for you. Another way of stepping out of my comfort zone is by joining a contest or a challenge that other artists host. I recently joined Toshia-san's Draw This in Your Style challenge on Instagram, and this is how it turned out. This way you're not only improving but also connecting with many other artists that joined the challenge. By the way, I'm giving away this piece for free. If you join my email list on my website, you have a chance to win this original painting and it's completely free. I ask my friends and family for painting ideas. Sometimes when I'm in a creative block, I love to hear the ideas of my people. We brainstorm titles for paintings or just talk about how a painting can look like. Then it pushes my mind in the right direction and it's a fun way to get back into creative thinking without pressure. And usually 2 brains are better than 1. I think that's it for now. I will probably make another video about how to fill your sketchbook because I have some new ideas. Oh, and what about a sketchbook tour for the small watercolor sketchbook? Do you like to see the ugly sketchbooks with messy thumbnails or the more polished ones? I wish you a great time and I hope I could inspire you to paint with watercolors again. See you soon.